Greetings, Miracle in Motion. Thanks for tuning into this live with some Q&A aspects to it as well. And every time I sit down to do one of these lives, I find myself wondering about all the things that happened since the last time. I do these lives once a month, and it seems everything is speeding up. Maybe you've noticed it yourself. And the world is getting more and more absurd, and more distractions are flooding our lives. And this weekend, or no, it was last weekend, me and my queen did a ceremony at the spring equinox. I tend to celebrate or tune into the natural cycles, because Christmas, that's not a natural cycle, and New Year's Eve is not a natural cycle. It's not a natural date, but midwinter and midsummer and spring equinox and autumn equinox. So I tuned into the natural energies at the spring equinox, and I was posed with the question, first, what is relevant? What is truly relevant? And also, what do you want to sacrifice your life on or for? And it might seem like a quite an intense question. What do you want to sacrifice your life for? What do you want to sacrifice your life on? But then, after a while, I realized the deeper meaning in the teaching I got. Because everything I do, everything I choose to focus on, everything I give my energy to, I actually sacrifice my life to. I don't kill myself, but I give my life force to something, to an idea or to a story or to something. So to me, it became intensely clear, what do I want to sacrifice my life on? Because our life is limited, of course, at least in this physical body. So what do I want to use my life on? And another really, to me, deep insight, and as always, it's really important these days, don't believe things, because there's too much indiscriminate belief going on these days. At least that's how I see it. We hear something, and maybe one person who says something or writes something or posts something, and then we take it in, we believe it. Maybe. Or we stop for a second and think, okay, what do I know? I wasn't there. Why should I trust this person? So what to do instead of believing then? Well, first, knowing is much better than belief or trust, because belief and trust always entails some sort of hesitation or disbelief, yeah? So to give an example of knowing, it's like you know that next time you breathe in, there will be air. You don't trust it, you don't have faith in it, you just know. And that's an intensely gratifying feeling when you step into knowing. So, my purpose of saying this is that you shouldn't, of course, believe anything I say either. Because this is another story. This is my story. Oh, good evening. It's always nice when something happens in the chat. So, of course, you shouldn't believe anything I say either, but feel it. How does it feel? Does it resonate? And if it doesn't resonate, okay, maybe you should choose another story. And one story that I have chosen to believe, that I have chosen to accept, that I have chosen to, well, I feel deep resonance with it, is with this Gaia Sophia. They usually call it the fallen goddess, which, well, if you say fallen goddess, the fallen goddess scenario, the fallen goddess, but it kind of implies that she fell from grace, that she did something wrong, yeah? But to me, I won't go into this story, is like too long, and but to me, it's more like the goddess who fell in love, the goddess who did something no one of her kind had done before. Good evening, Malin, my queen, and Ina. She did something no Aeon had did before. She took a plunge into manifestation, and she fell in love because she did it out of love for her children, for her creation, humanity. So when I convey information, I've been conveying or receiving information for many years, even since I was a kid, of course. We all have this. I see it as I connect to this infinite memory bank. Like nature. Nature is a library of wisdom. And I've been rolling around in moss and hugging trees, even kissing trees and licking trees, making out with trees for many years. And as I always said, I don't have a relationship to nature. I have a relationship with nature because we are nature. This body is made of nature. This is, of course, my body. Your body is made of the same stuff as a tree or moss or a rock or water. It's the same. And something else I've come to realize through through some pretty turbulent experiences is the importance of keeping our center, because when the world is getting more and more turbulent, more and more stormy, if you want, keeping our center is getting more and more important, and to choose what we put our life on, our life energy on, because we create more and more with our thoughts, actions, words. That's why it's called spelling, because every word is a spell. So everything we say actually vibrates out into the field, if you want to call it that, and the spoken word never disappears. This memory bank, it contains memories of everything that has ever happened on Earth, maybe beyond. Every dandelion that has bloomed is recorded in this memory. And this is mind-boggling because it's really hard to understand, but to me it's really, well, it's scary, but it's also quite interesting to say that every word I have ever spoken is in this memory. Maybe even every thought I ever created in my mind is in this memory bank. Then, of course, there's a lot of disturbing memories, but there are also some original memories, original dream. But going back to this keeping our center, it is like this. Well, this is my metaphoric explanation. Like this, there are different levels of vibration. Here's one vibration, here's another one. It's like tones. Everything is vibrating. I mean, everything has a tone, everything has its own song. And some of these vibrations... Oh, a question. Okay, I'll do this first. Let's say this is a vibration of fear, anger, frustration, hatred. It is a very strong vibration on Earth right now in the collective, because there's a lot of people that don't feel safe. There's a lot of people that are frustrated. People are afraid. And people want to lash out at something, because all this frustration and fear builds up in you. Our natural tendency is to lash out at the enemy that is causing this in the outside. So let's say you are here. Let's say you are usually here. You are generally focused on beauty, you're focused on love, you're focused on being nice to your neighbor, to yourself, to your spouse if you have one, to your children, to your vicinity, to the people the people you meet. So it always starts here. It starts with you. It starts with your closest relationships, your family. If you have one, not everybody has a family. Anyway, so then if you happen to be involved or hear or information that is in this vibration that is really not the same, and this is not good or bad. It's not like one is better. One usually feels better, even though many people feel it's really interesting to be here, because it's, in a way, it's powerful to be angry at something, because anger is, for a while anyway, it's quite invigorating. But many people live here. Many people, this is the only existence there is. So then if you are here, if you're focused on this beauty, when you focus on beauty, you want to see beauty, you want to see the mystery, you want to feel this rapture, this awe at the mystery, at nature, existence, creation. And then you may hear someone talking here. And I've realized from trial and error, one might say, that to go here, you have to respond in some way. You may go into defending yourself, you may go into arguing, you may go into some sort of discussion, or to convince someone about something. So that's the only way you can actually open this door. You can just say, okay, I don't want to play that game. I'm not interested. I am not interested in that game. So it may be challenging, especially if it's personal stuff, but keeping your center is, as I have come to realize for my sake anyway, it is important for many aspects, also because that's where you have contact to this, the library. It's in your center. When you're in your center, you have a direct connection with this infinite library. Okay, some questions. Malin, it's really cool. Malin, my queen, and we have these discussions. We have intensely interesting discussions. And then questions come up. Then I usually say, okay, take it in the live. Because when I'm in this vibe, I usually get ideas or answers or suggestions that I don't get otherwise. Okay, in previous talks, the question number 1, in previous talks you have mentioned the original dream. Will you please explain what that means? Malin asks, in previous talks you have mentioned the original dream. Will you please explain what that means? Well, the original dream was something, I don't know if I read it or if it came into my mind, but to me, if we go back to this this story, which I find deep resonance with, the goddess who fell in love. She and her companion, Thalete, the creator gods, they created humanity. And they had a vision for humanity. And they endowed us with certain godlike qualities. We can create, we can imagine, we can make fantasies, we can change our reality, we can create marvelous things and not so marvelous things. So we have these godlike qualities. So original dream is basically the original vision or blueprint or movie or plan they had for humanity as a species. And then, well, during her flight into matter, some strange energies occurred that are influencing humanity out of jealousy But that is another story, the archons. So the original dream is basically the original movie, the script that was planned for humanity to live on Earth, and Gaia Sophia created Earth from her own body. So we're walking on a goddess. And there is another movie, the original dream is more and more coming into play. And the thing is, it's an open-ended story. So we have the ability to create and to live and to love and to imagine what new Earth will be. And the old timeline, the old movie is crumbling. It's falling apart as we speak, as I speak, as you listen to this. The old reality, the only thing keeping the old reality in place is the collective fear and worry and division of humanity. And that's why that's the only thing giving this old timeline energy. And distractions are like a never-ending maze. Because there will always be another distraction. There will always be another whistleblower. There will always be another person claiming something. But imagine and ask yourself the question, not who are you? Because who are you? If you ask who are you, people usually ask, oh, well, my name is this, I live there, I have a kid, this is my work, or this is my degree, or my interests are blah, blah, blah. But if you instead ask yourself, what am I? What am I? So what if you are truly a miracle in motion? A human that is endowed with godlike creative powers. And maybe you can change or transmute anything. Maybe you are truly perfect. Maybe you are made to be perfect. Maybe you are just in some sort of amnesia about your true origins and your true powers. So it's about remembering what we are. It's about remembering what you are. It's about not claiming the power, because you don't need to claim it. It is yours. You just need to accept it. So how do you do that? You can say, okay, I accept my original dream. I accept the power, the powers that are mine as a birthright. Because there is, some say there's a battle now. There's a battle for humanity. I don't particularly like the word battle, because battle entails force, like you're fighting something. And if you fight something, usually you can never win, because if there's a loser, there is, well, if one loses, both lose. So imagine, I challenge you to imagine a world where people are respectful, nice, loving. They cherish the beauty all around. We need to prepare for peace. Many people say we need to prepare for war. Well, we've been in a war for quite some time, but maybe we need to prepare for peace. That's a totally different story. And as I said, which story do you want to give your life to? To me now, I would gladly devote my life to creating New Earth, being part of humanity's evolution. Because there are two paths. Many years ago, I got this vision. Humanity, I don't know, almost 20 years ago. Humanity will have two paths, one into the machine and one away from the machine. And once we go into the machine, there's probably no turning back. Which doesn't mean that, oh, well, I used my phone. Well, that's not that's not too late. And I'm more and more eager to. I'm going to have a 1 week totally without a phone or computer, any digital apparatus, and see what happens. 1 week. I haven't been 1 week without the phone since I got the phone, mobile phone. Anyway, that's a personal note. So the original dream is the original vision the creator gods had for humanity. Because creator gods, I will go into this. Please bear with me, because this is, I'm still integrating this, the goddess to fall in love scenario. But anyway, I will do a very, here we have galaxies, a lot of galaxies, of course. And then you have the omnigalactic source somewhere here. It's, well, you can't really paint it because it's more plasmic than physical. Anyway, so in the center of the galaxy, in the center of every galaxy, there are creator couples. In this case, Sophia, Gaia Sophia. Sophia means wisdom, Gaia Earth. Gaia Sophia and her counterpart, Thelete. There are these creator god couples that reside in the center of every galaxy. And the center of the Milky Way is called Hunabku by the Mayans. Hunabku, the one giver of movement and measure. Movement is the feminine, measure is the masculine. Because if you only have movement without direction, focus, intention, it doesn't really work. And if you have only intention without movement, it doesn't work. So they work in pairs, yin yang. And what she did was that here's the galaxy. Now it has to be bigger. Okay. Here's the center. Here's the galaxy going out like this. What she did out of love, because they tried to make humanity 9 times and it didn't really work. So this time she did something no one had done before, no eon. She plunged out into the galaxy. I want to have a yellow one. She plunged out into the galaxy. She fell in love. It was love that made her take the plunge. So it was a conscious choice. And then, I have no idea why I'm talking about this, but the original dream. They had an original dream about humanity. And to make this work, she followed her creation out into the galaxy, out into the physical realm. So the original dream is the original vision that Gaia Sophia and Thelete had for humanity. And I'm convinced it was pretty cool. I'm convinced it was infinitely more expansive and powerful than we have been led to believe. And remember this, you need to accept a story for it to affect you. You need to accept it. It's like poison. If there's poison in a glass in front of you, it doesn't affect you. You have to drink it. It's the same with information. It's the same with vibration. And if you're, okay, then might say, okay, what should we do? But if you walk along the street, there are different clubs. And there's one club that plays this music you hate. I mean, it's destructive and everybody's fighting. It's like mayhem. Some people like mayhem. But anyway, let's, for the sake of discussion, say this is something we want to avoid. You simply don't go there. You don't go in and try to stop it. You just simply don't go there. Because for this old story to be alive and continue, people need to believe it. For this club to survive, this old reality, people need to visit it. And if you don't go to it, I mean, it's natural. If there's a club and no one goes there, it has to close because they don't get any energy. It's the same with realities and stories. Okay, that was question number 1. Let me see here. Okay, a warm welcome. Okay, thank you. Carolina, wondering if you can feel if my body is affected by mold in my home. Feeling strange like a filter around the head. Carolina asks, wondering if you can feel if my body is affected by mold in my home. Feeling strange like a filter around the head. This is also something, if you have a feeling, if you have an intuitive feeling that you are affected by mold, maybe you should trust it. And then feeling strange like a filter around the head, it doesn't have to be with any mold. It can be many other reasons for that, of course. My suggestion, as always, or often anyway, go out into nature. Go out into nature and talk to this infinite library. Because this borders to a medical question, and I have been informed giving medical advice is it's like different layers. So it depends on what it is, because it can be if you have a medical condition, and if I were to give an answer that is here, there are many other levels that are, of course, influencing the situation. So if you scratch on one level, you may affect other levels in ways that are not meant to be affected at that time. It's like when you dig a hole, you have to start from the top. You can't dig a hole from the bottom down. So everything happens, of course, according to divine timing or natural cycles. But if you feel it, if you have an intuitive feeling that you are affected by mold, maybe you should check it out, check it up. But first, go somewhere else. Go out into nature. If you feel the same filter around the head in nature, maybe there's something else. Maybe you're protected. But there's a lot of this brain fog. There's a lot of people experiencing this fog now, because we are moving from one state to another, and in every transition there's usually a period of confusion. You don't see even snakes when they shed their old skin. When they shed the old skin gets opaque. You can't see through it. So even a snake is not blind, but it doesn't see clearly when in transition. But I can assure you that you have all your answers, and you should trust your intuition. Carolina, ask your body. That's my first. If my body is in some sort of discomfort, I always ask it, hey body, what do you want to tell me? What do you want to tell me? And usually we get quick and precise answers. And if we don't, we just keep asking. And my panacea, my favorite, I don't want to use the word medicine, my favorite go-to place for healing and centering and rejuvenation is nature. Because we are made to be in nature, of nature. We are made to follow natural cycles. We are made to be co-creators on this earth. And paradise, we are in paradise. It's not like we go somewhere when we leave this body. We are in paradise. We just fail to see it many times. Because there is so much beauty. There's so much, there's a lot of strange things that one might perceive as evil going on as well. But there is also beauty. And you don't have to go far. The sky, grass, tree. And if you start looking for beauty, you will see more of it. And you create more of what you focus on. But a concrete advice, practical advice, Carolina, ask your body, go out into nature, say and speak to nature, hey, I have this problem, I have this issue, please, I need advice. And if you speak from your heart and speak out loud, it works much better. And you will be drawn to a tree or a rock or just a place in nature. And you sit down and you ask, is it okay if I sit here? Can I sit down? I need some advice. And you may feel that the space opens up to you. You may feel embraced by this place. And if you feel you shouldn't sit there, it could be a warning. Maybe that it's full of ants, or maybe there's a snake or something. Maybe you're not supposed to sit there. And then when you find your place, you open up to nature and truly ask your question. Because we all have this. And that is part of my mission. Sounds a bit over the top, but mission possible, that we all gain access to our own original dream, our own library of memories, our own library of wisdom, and it's always in our center. I don't know if you got any answers at all, Carolina, but trust yourself, trust your intuition, trust your body. And if you want to ask for advice, go out into nature. Talk to Gaia Sophia, and she will open her library of wisdom for you. Okay, Malin again. Question number 2. How can we tap into this original dream without mixing it with our personal ideas, fantasies? How can we tap into this original dream without mixing it with our personal ideas, fantasies? Well, this is really interesting question, of course, because we may have many dreams, many fantasies. And usually when it entails that something should happen for our happiness to manifest, or if we put our fantasy, okay, if this person behaves like this, I will feel good. One simple way is to actually choose. Fundamental to, I choose to reconnect with my original dream. I choose to reconnect with my original dream. I choose beauty. I choose my original dream. And there's a little caveat here. There's a little beware, because when you do this, you may realize that everything that isn't part of your original dream, ideas, things, persons, stories, they may simply fall away like the husk of a seed. So there is power in this. When you choose this, be aware, beware, be aware that it will start a process in you. And The thing is that usually we don't need to do too much, because this original dream is awakening within us. It's a great, I mean, humanity is awakening. It's never been a time like this on Earth. Humanity is awakening. Of course, it's confusing. And an awakening isn't just like you wake up one day, oh, everything is, I'm just going to smile for the rest of my life. My awakening was like being like through some kind of, I don't know the name in English, like a blaster. Just like you use sand, and you just, your soul is being like, well, anyway, it was quite intense, and I thought I was losing my mind. But then I realized when I lose my mind, it's then when I find something that is truly infinite and timeless. So awakening can be, usually, is a very intense experience. And awakening also entails usually a sense of deep loneliness. I call it cosmic loneliness, because I was devoid of any connection to anything. But that's all part of the plan. That's all part of the process. So it also has something to do with desire, because well, there was misinterpretation of Buddha. He said something else, but usually it's desire leads to suffering. Desire leads to suffering. But there are two kinds of desire. First, there is consuming desire. Consuming desire, which means you are desiring things to fill a void inside. You have this emptiness inside and you desire things to fill it. And that's consuming desire. You need stuff. You need confirmation. You need a new car. You need a new jacket. You need food or whatever. It's a consuming desire, because you're trying to fill a void from outside, but you can't fill a void with something that doesn't contain anything. That is another void, basically, because there's a lot of fake stuff now. Even whole YouTube channels are made by AI. And it's where the archons come in. They say artificial intelligence, maybe it's archontic intelligence. But the thing with the archontic energy is they can only mimic. They can't create. They can only make copies of something that already exists, which is pretty much what AI does. It can't create, it can only mimic in a very good way. So, and then you have creative desire. Consuming desire, trying to fill a void with something outside or other people's behavior or confirmation or whatever. And then you have creative desire. It's this divine desire to create, to expand, to evolve. And creative desire comes from being full. And that's part of the original dream. You want to create just for the sake of creating. It's like I'm doing lives and recording videos. It's not because I try to fill a void. It's because I'm so full inside, I need to let it out. And the original dream is also never about fighting anything. The original dream is about unity, it's about compassion, love, beauty. So every time you feel inclined to destroy something or fight something, it's probably not the original dream. Because when you focus on destruction, destroying something, we need to destroy that, we need to fight that, we need to take them down, we need to obliterate them. Peace through superior firepower. If you focus on destruction, there's no creation. There's not a natural creation in destruction. If you take, I don't know if it was Michelangelo who made this statue out of marble. If he focused on destroying the rock, it would be a pile of rubble. He would say, yeah, I destroyed the stone. But instead he focused on creation. So he created a beautiful statue. Of course, in a way, he destroyed the rock as it was before, but he created something. And if you take a piece of wood, I want to destroy this wood. Okay, you can chop it into pieces. It will be sawdust. You didn't create, or you created sawdust, of course. But then if, okay, I want to make a beautiful spoon out of this. In a way, you will destroy the piece of wood as it was before, but you will also have created something because the focus is on creation. So usually, if it is about division, if it is about destroying something, if it is about fighting something, maybe it's not the original dream, because the original dream probably didn't involve fighting, destroying. It involved beauty, creation. Of course, there will always be issues, problems you need to solve, like make fire. There will always be things to take care of. You can't just sit in a sofa and expect things to change, of course. But you also get these cues. You get these cues. If you're centered, and how do you get centered? You can just choose. I choose to be in my center. So if you're out in the storm, if you feel pressured, or if you feel attacked, or if you feel like you need to defend yourself, you're out in the storm. But if you're in the eye of the storm, there's always calm. Like in a hurricane, the eye of the storm, it is calm. And so it is with you as well. In your center, it's calm. And nirvana, the word means no wind. So when you are in your center, you can connect to your original dream. That's probably the only place where you can gain access to it. And then, of course, there's a lot of old programming. We all have it. Stories we have chosen to accept, truths we have chosen to accept, paradigms, morphic fields. Every species has a morphic field. A squirrel has a morphic field. A birch has a morphic field. It tells it what it is. It tells it what it is. And humanity also has a morphic field that has been hijacked because we have been led to believe that we are something else, something minuscule. I don't know how to pronounce that word, something much, much, much less than we truly are. We have powers beyond our imagination. Imagine if you could transmute anything. If you have an infection, okay, you transmute it because we trust our body's innate ability to heal. But that's also about vibrations. So if you choose to go into a vibration, and if you hear something, okay, I'll elaborate a little bit more about the original dream. But if you choose to believe something, like some story that you feel, oh, this is terrible, this is really bad, then you take in this, you drink the poison, and you are affected by it, and you also tune into that vibration. You tune into that vibration. You start that playlist. And then it may take some focus to get out of it. But then again, return to your center, because that's the key to the library. And it's okay to feel good. It's okay to feel good, because it doesn't matter if you feel bad. The world, you can't feel bad enough to change the world into good. Doesn't matter how bad you feel. The world won't be better. But if you feel good when you can, that changes the vibration of the collective. And that, of course, doesn't mean you should avoid things in your vicinity. If something happens in your vicinity that you can affect, of course, you should do something about it. But if something happens on the other side of the world, the best thing you can do is to stay in your center and have a good vibration, focus on beauty. Maximum beauty, minimum effort, because struggle is also not part of this. A river doesn't struggle. A river doesn't fight the riverbank. So it's not only going with the flow, it's working with the flow, acting with the flow. So to discern the original dream from personal fantasies, usually when you're in your center, it's always the original dream. And if you're out in the storm, if you're away from your center, it's usually more, well, ego-based. Ego is not something we should destroy either. Ego is just ego. But it's more, you're putting your power into something else. You give away your power to something that you often cannot do anything about. You can take the weather or carbon dioxide, or you should feel guilty for using a car or whatnot. And that's another story. Carbon dioxide. That's actually what trees are created from. If you think about it, if you can have a large tree in a pot, and you never have to add soil to this pot. It's not like, oh, the tree grows, I have to add soil. No, it's the same. It may be a little change. And it's not about water. So where does it come from? Where do the tree come from? Where does the tree come from? Well, it's made out of carbon. The tree is built from carbon dioxide. And it exhales oxygen, of course, through the photosynthesis. That's another story. But usually, when you're in your center, it's the original dream, and the creation in your original dream comes from inside. When you're out in the storm, you may have personal ideas and fantasies that usually entails something else. It usually entails that a situation should be in a certain way. You need this, or this person should behave like this. Then we put away our power into something outside of ourselves. But in the original dream, you are complete. You are filled with this creative power, and you are perfect. Or you remember that you are perfect. You remember that you are truly a child of God's, and you have been endowed with creative powers beyond your imagination. So let's create something beautiful. We have a choice. It's always a choice. We can choose to feed the old paradigm with fear and worry and anger, hate. And of course, feelings are feelings. If you feel them, feel them. You don't have to do anything with them. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Carolina, reality shifted. The mind likes conclusions in everything. That is because of this and this, instead of feeling it and let it go. Reality shifted. The mind likes conclusions in everything. That is because of this and this, instead of feeling it and let it go. Yeah, that's the power of surrender. That's my favorite tool or favorite plaything. I've talked about this before. I used to be worried all the time before. I used to be worried about a lot of stuff. And as I said, I have a very creative imagination. And if you couple that with worry, I could I could create some pretty pretty interesting scenarios. But then I was fed up being worried, because I thought it was responsible to be worried. Of course, if I'm not worried, I'm not a responsible person. I have to be responsible. And if I am responsible, I need to worry. Then I got fed up with worrying, and it took me, well, I don't know how long, not several years, but at least a year, a couple of years, to truly surrender worry. So every time I felt worry, I tried to feel even more worry. I was seeing how worried I could get. And then eventually, there was no more worry. And then, of course, all the thoughts connected to worry was gone. So then I decided to be curious instead, and filled with awe, and embrace the mystery. Because there is a mystery. I don't understand anything. I don't understand how a tree works. I don't understand how moss works. I don't understand water. I don't understand. There's so much. I have no idea how it works. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because understanding, a desire to understand, limits the ability to experience. If I try to understand, if I try to deeply understand all the chemical whatnot of water and how it behaves and stuff, I don't need to understand it to enjoy it. And if I open myself to the mystery of water, it is amazing. Because it's the direct experience. And it's also this Gaia Sophia, the goddess who fell in love. It's the direct experience of the mystery. It's not about reading a book. Like I said, you can read 1,000 books about how a strawberry tastes, but you will never know. You will never know until you try it. So this, what I'm sharing, of course, it's what I get from this library. It's not about believing something. It's not about accepting a story. It's about getting a suggestion. Okay, maybe this is so. Maybe I should try it. Maybe I should go out into nature and communicate with Gaia Sophia, this goddess under my feet. And Thelete, as I see it, Thelete, the male counterpart, is represented in the sun. A new science shows that we are actually inside the sun, because the sun have, of course, also different layers and bodies. So we are inside the sun, not the fiery, super hot core, but we are inside the sun's etheric bodies, or whatever you want to call it. But direct experience, there's nothing that compares to it, because through direct experience, you also get to knowing, like I talked about in the beginning. It's only through breathing you know how it is to breathe. It's only through drinking water, which, well, there's not a human on earth that hasn't drank water, I suppose, if you're not getting Gatorade in your from when you are an infant, or Mountain Dew. or some other soft drink. But it's the direct experience, and that's why I ask you not to believe what I'm saying. You should feel it. Does it feel? Is there a resonance? Is there a resonance? Because you are infinitely powerful. And we, like I said, we don't need to claim it. It is already there. We don't need to do anything to deserve it. We don't need to behave in a certain way, besides centering ourselves. Because there's some things we can't avoid. If I want to drink this water, I can't pour it here. I have to pour it into my mouth. So that's like natural laws. You have to be in a certain position, and you have to be inside the library, or at least be able to open it to access it. If you're standing on the street, it doesn't matter how much you think about being in the library. You need to step into it and see all the books there. Interesting times indeed. And as I see it, it's not a battle for humanity. It's more like a dance. And we just need not to accept some stories. We need to choose a story or a movie that we feel is resonant with New Earth. Imagine a paradise. That's may take some practice, because we're used to prepare for war or prepare for disaster. But maybe we should really focus on preparing for peace, preparing for marvels, preparing for miracles, preparing for beauty all around us. And as always, start with yourself, start with your family, start with people close to you. Like I said, be nice. If you buy a coffee, be nice to the person. Because it starts with you, with the people close to you. Everything, you have the creative power. And just play with it. And go out into nature. And even if many people are scared about going into nature, there may be some rabid raccoons or some mad moose running around, or insects or whatnot. But conquer that fear. Because the forest you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Slight change of the original saying. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. And it's usually an amount of fear involved when we step out of this husk, this cocoon, this matrix. Matrix means womb. Matrix is a word for womb. So matrix, the word matrix has been vilified, and prison planet, and some kind of controlling grid. Of course, there's a grid around Earth. There's a lot of forces that are trying to lock us into a vibration, and even try to lock Earth into a certain locked vibration. But it's always about force. It's not about power. Force is limited, because force is always met with a counter force. And force needs energy from outside to sustain itself. Power is infinite. It's the power of love. It's not the force of love. And it's, to me, better to be powerful than to be forceful. And maybe I should show another image. This net around Earth, there's a energy net around Earth. Other people talk about this. It's a symbolic image. This grid, this vibratory locking grid around Earth. And every node Every node is a person in this grid. So every person believing a certain story or accepting a certain truth. Interesting comments in there. Okay, I will do my best not to read them before I'm done with this little exploration into the grid. So imagine, I got this vision also many years ago. Imagine every knot or every node or whatever it's called in this net is a person. And this grid is held in place by people worrying, being afraid, buying into the narrative, and so on. But what happens is if one person here becomes like a sun, the original dream, their truth, shines forcefully. It's like the blazing love. It will burn a hole in this net. And if you break certain nodes or certain knots in a net, it will fall apart. And this is what's happening now. It's like sun's awakening on Earth. So when you feel, because you are awakening, of course, and you just need to surrender to the feeling and know that it's a natural process. Morgan, welcome, Morgan. I used to think force as external, source as internal. That's a very good one, because force is usually from the outside. That's a really good one. And force is like this. And source, internal. Yes. Like a tree, the center of a tree, the heart of a tree goes out in the trunk and out into the branch and out into every leaf. So the center of a tree comes from the seed, and the center of a tree goes out into every root and every leaf. It's the same with us. In our heart, we have a direct connection to source. Thank you for your comment, Morgan. Nice to see you here. May the source be with you. Yes, may the source be with you. Beautiful. So I don't really like the Star Wars. May the force be with you. May the source be with you. Much better. That's a really good one. Thank you for that. Okay. I'm gonna really, thank you for it. It's always nice to see new persons showing up in the feed. I will close this live for tonight. I'm truly happy you in particular, you choose to be here. And it's all about remembering what we are. It's not about learning something new. This is also, it's not about adding knowledge or reading much more books. We don't have time to read books. We don't have time to go through all libraries. We don't have time to delve into different philosophies or different religions or whatnot. I did this for many years. I read every book I could find. And I thought, this is the answer. This is the answer. Then I realized it's all like veils hiding the truth, whatever the truth is. The truth is, of course, limited in time and space, because what is true now is not true in an hour. And what is true here is not true. These interesting comments here. I have to remember and remember that Uranus, as the original father in heaven, was dismembered. Interesting comments. Okay, I'll add this one too. Thank you for sharing. Fire and water is a loving couple. Fire never dies. That is really interesting, because in the Nordic creation myth, it was fire and ice. Fire and ice in the mists that was created when fire and ice met, it's where creation started. There's a lot of interesting comments here. Thank you, Morgan, for sharing, really. I will round this off, though, and I truly thank you for being part of this. And if you watch this recording afterwards, of course, please comment and subscribe. That's something one is supposed to say on a YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and share. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. But it is truly marvelous times, and we are in the middle of it. And in the middle of it, we should be in our center. Thank you. And I truly, truly, with love, I wish you all the best. And may you remember what you are. May you remember what you are. See you in a while.